Many people, including those who call themselves financial experts, seem to have no idea whatsoever where someone like Putin stores his money. Let me tell you something. If you have seen how the United States and the European Union have been boosting themselves using sanctions and other means of financial control they have over the world, can you still store your money in the bank and stock markets? The answer is no. The United States and the European Union are the only one who created the SWIFT payment system. And the SWIFT payment system is just a means to transfer money from one place to another. But what money? What money? You can only transfer the money that is part of the fiat currency, or what we call fiat money. This means that the SWIFT is only dealing with paper money that we call fiat currency. I have seen the so-called financial experts talking about Putin storing his money in bonds and stocks and tax havens. Let me tell you something. Anything that can be transferred using SWIFT payment system cannot be an option for storing wealth for a leader of a country who have seen how boastful the United States and its ally can be with sanctions. Putin wants his money in Russia, where no Western leader will have access to it. He wants his money in something that its value cannot be taken away by human being. Something that its value was given by God and not by a Federal Reserve in Washington, D.C. If you go back in history, when the Federal Reserve was created in 1913, what was the first move the Federal Reserve did? That was banning the gold standard. That was the first thing they did. And the second thing was to create a system of payment that fiat currency can be transferred all over the world. And in 1973, the SWIFT system of payment was created to advance the agenda of globalization, something that was already in the mind of many bankers. Without the SWIFT payment system, globalization can be impossible. You cannot transfer gold and silver via the SWIFT payment system because this is an electronic transfer. And what is good about gold and silver is people want to touch gold and behold its shyness, and it cannot be transferred via electronic system. So SWIFT can only work on fiat currency. And what we know about the fiat currency system today, the ability to print as much as you can without limit. Just like numbers have no limit, that is how fiat currencies are. They have no limit whatsoever of how much private bankers can print. They can print as much money as they can without no limit. So do you believe Putin can store his money in fiat currency in London banks? No way. Putin stores his money in gold and silver. That is what he knows for sure. The private bankers who created the SWIFT system of payment will never print. They will never print gold and silver, because that is the reason they removed the gold standard in the first place. That does not mean he just gave his gold and silver to banks in London or Washington, D.C. Putin have had time to study the behavior of Western leaders, especially the United States and the European Union, how they react when it comes to other people's money. And one of it is the gold President of Venezuela was storing in the Bank of London. One of the behavior of Western leaders is when you store money in the bank, they will never ask any question. They will never ask any question until you want to withdraw your money. And Lord have mercy, if they don't have anything, they disagree with you. I'm telling you that you will not withdraw the money. They will keep it to themselves. And that is what happened to President of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro. When he stored his gold in the Bank of London, there is no question asked. But when he tried to withdraw the gold, the Bank of London told him that his gold had been seized. This teaches Putin a lesson that no man store his money in another man's pocket. This is what our African ancestors told us before, that no man store his money in another man's pocket. I don't know if Putin has African ancestors. He has learned from experience he has with Western leaders and Western bankers. And if you don't know, Putin have had enough time to watch Western leaders react when it comes to other people's money. And I guarantee you that he has no cent left in the banks that is in the Western world. His money is stored in gold and silver, and not in the banks in the Western world, no, but in Russia. And he has done that for every oligarch of the Russian Duma. No Russian oligarch who still has a brain working well in his mind can still store his money in the European banks and American banks. No way. They have learned a lesson from experience. And like we always say, those who don't learn from experience are likely to repeat them again until they learn a lesson. Remember, even monkeys learn from experience. So how about a human being who was made by God to be a ruler of a nation in this world? How much can experience teach a human? That is for you to decide. This is Gregory Kurubone. Follow me next time in my new episode. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.